Namaskar, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sanjay Desai. I am basically a chemical engineer. I am heading a distillery technology company called Regreen-Excel from Pune. So first of all, I would like to thank the organizers, DSTA, and all of you for giving me this opportunity and honor. It's really a great honor to be talking to you, especially after Sri Gunjal sir's wisdom words on the syrup and fermentation distillation. So actually he has made my job much easier. So anyway, I'll try to live up to the expectation of all of you. So basically now we are talking about ethanol. With the kind permission of all of you, I would like to briefly talk about our company and also some statistics about ethanol, demand, supply and feedstock. Then we talk about challenges in sugarcane syrup technology and the challenges on the operation. So these are the feedstocks which are available. There are basically two types of feedstock. One is starch containing feedstock, so in which you have broken rice, you have bajra, you have so many millets and corn. Then you have sugar containing feedstock like sugarcane syrup, then molasses, BAVC molasses. Then apart from that, you can think of 2G feedstock, like basically cellulosic feedstocks. So in that you have a lot of this parali, even the bagasse. Then you have algae, which can be also thought of in future. Then you also have sweet sorghum, which can give both 2G feedstock and also 1G feedstock. So then you already have E10, E25 or E20. We can go up to E85, E100, that is 100% ethanol use in the car or on the vehicle. Then you also have a lot of opportunities in terms of diversified product like green chemicals, ethyl acetate, butyl acetate, oxalic acid. So many things can be made from ethanol. Then of course, ethanol can be used in cars, petrol cars and petrol vehicles. But apart from that, very recently, BPCL, HPCL, they have come out with ED7 diesel mix that is having 7% ethanol and the rest diesel. They already conducted a successful trial on Ashok Leyland bus recently. So sooner or later, we'll have diesel which is having ethanol. So that would be a great opportunity. Then you have SAF, that is Sustainable Aviation Fuel. We recently had one test flight using 1% ethanol, so in the aviation fuel. So in US and in Europe, this is fast catching up because they want to have lesser CFCs using SAF. So apart from that, for us, the low hanging fruits are like we can use in diesel generators ethanol. So we can have a flexi engines for diesel sets, DG sets. So that would be a great opportunity to get help for the rural community and also for reducing the carbon emissions. So basically we are established in 2009 and 2014 onwards we started building turnkey projects. So now we have a cumulative experience of 150 projects. We have 450 engineers and 500 skilled workers. So our turnover has reached 1,000 plus. This year we are trying 2,000 crore. So we want to become global number one in sustainable technologies for cleaner earth. And you can see the 150 is a reference of all the plants we have done in last 4-5 years. In India, in the last 5 years, there are 320 plus plants have been built. Out of 320 plants, we were fortunate to build 150 plus plants. Then on the right hand side, you can see these are the biomass cogen plants which are attached to the ethanol plant. Earlier, people used to use coal or any other fossil fuel to produce ethanol. So there is no point in burning 100-ton coal to produce 100 KL of ethanol. So we decided to venture into development of biomass power cogen plants attached to our own distilleries. So we have also, sorry sir? Yeah. So basically we have been building plants with cogen plants along with ethanol plants to use mustard husk, soya husk, even the bamboos using different boiler technologies. pan-India basis. So these are our main highlights references. We have built a 450 KL plant. Then we have built 800 KL plant for Ugar sugar, which can operate on sugarcane syrup and also grain. So this plant is designed for 1 kg steam pressure. Only the ethanol dehydrator requires slightly higher pressure steam. So this is one of the most challenging project we ever involved, and this is the Asia's largest plant operating now. Then we have built a 323 KL plant for Balrampur Chini, which operates on sugarcane syrup during season, and off season they switch over to corn or rice. And steam consumption reduction has been our hallmark of our company and the technology. So we have been reducing the steam consumption year after year. Now we can offer 3.2 kg for grain. These are operating results, but recently we have introduced Emax 75. With that we can go as low as 2.5 kg per liter for grain ethanol production. Then quite a large capacity dryers, evaporators we have built already. Then we have also developed quite a few innovation in terms of heat integration. And we are based in Pune. So we use 3D softwares for designing of each and every plant. So based on this 3D model, we develop the plant and we build and construct. And this is our growth journey. In 2016, we are just one crore company. Now this year, we are targeting 2,000 crore. The only main line of business is ethanol and distillery liquor grade spirits. And we have a solvency of more than 100 crore. Basically, these are the government, support incentives to the ethanol industry. I think most of it you are already aware. So they have made it E20 as a mandate. Then we have been increasing ethanol rates since 2014. I think some of you might be aware that 2014 the ethanol price, average price was 27 rupees. Now we have more than 60. Then a lot of oil companies have been asked to build huge blending facilities. So one decade ago, we had only 60 blending facilities where one can receive ethanol and blend with petrol and dispose. So now I think we have 270 depots all over India to receive ethanol and for the blending. So I think every 100 kilometers you will find one facility. And government is also thinking of laying ethanol pipes. So that ethanol can be transported by pipelines from one state to another state. For example, there is a deficit in Tamil Nadu, and if Maharashtra is producing more ethanol, one day we can see that the Maharashtra ethanol will be piped to Tamil Nadu. Then the latest one is the promotion of flex fuel cars and also blending with diesel. So these will offer huge opportunities for all of us. Basically, these are the ethanol petrol consumption every year. So we'll have almost 41 metric million tons by 2030. That will be around 5,700 crore liters of petrol. So this is a very conservative projection by Niti Aayog after considering the EV electric vehicle introduction. So if you go with 20%, then we'll have more than 1,000 liters by 2025-26. But actually the petrol consumption is actually growing much more than what is projected. So right now our estimate is around 1,400 crore liter of ethanol is required. Only 700 crore is being produced. And in spite of introduction of EV and a lot of talk about EVs pan-India basis, still petrol vehicle consumption is going up. It will be almost 41 lakhs, cars by 2030. So that is almost double. So that will still push the ethanol consumption to a next level. Then these are the green states. You can see these are producing excess ethanol, excess of 10%. It is not at 20%. So they are basically Punjab, Haryana, UP, Maharashtra, Karnataka. These states are producing more ethanol, and they are now excess ethanol is going to neighboring states. But still we have a lot of deficit in Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Pondicherry, almost 90 crore liters, which is equivalent to almost 50 ethanol plants of 150 KL. Then similarly, we have deficit in Rajasthan, Gujarat. Again, another 30 to 40 projects are required there. So any increase in the petrol consumption, because when you say 7% increase in petrol consumption, so that means you have 1.5%, 1.4% ethanol consumption increase. So I mean, in India, one can say that we'll always have a higher demand than the lesser supply. So it will never be a situation where we'll have excess ethanol pan India basis. It's only a matter of time that this ethanol trading will be more decentralized, so that Maharashtra can pump in more ethanol to neighboring states without any tax or without any restrictions. So basically, this chart gives you some idea about the ethanol requirement or the production from grain and sugar industry. So basically, whatever excess sugar you have, 6 to 8 million tons every year, that cannot be exported very easily nowadays. So that can be converted to ethanol. So that will be around 700-800 crore liter. So beyond that, if you try to convert into ethanol, then sugar price may go up. If there is a drought in Brazil, then again you will have an opportunity to export sugar. I think because of that, government is now also promoting grain ethanol projects. So they want to have another 10% ethanol coming from grain industry, because there is also excess grain, excess rice and excess corn. So in our opinion, sugar industry shouldn't see that grain is a competition, grain ethanol. In fact, it could be an opportunity for sugar industries to add grain ethanol section to the existing molasses distilleries. So the same chart is there. You can see that almost by 2025-26, you will have 50% coming from sugar and 50% from grain. So this is the surplus sugar and surplus grain production. You can see that almost 3 million ton of rice is in excess of strategic reserve for food security. Then you have maize is also in excess. So all this can lead to very easily 20% blend. And these are the rates which I already discussed. On the right hand side, left hand side is the new rates, and the right hand side is the old rates. So recently, government has also started giving differential rates for maize and rice. So government wants to increase or encourage the maize to ethanol production. So that's why the rates are slightly higher for maize. And for us, all technology developers like us, these are the challenges, because last 3-4 years, for any design or commissioning engineer, these are the most challenging times. Because we are asked to build huge plants, big plants. So we were having 60 KL, 70 KL as the average capacity of the plant. Now we are building 500, 800 KL plants. India has never seen such kind of a capacity built up in such a quick time. Then multi-feedstock, like we have a lot of feedstocks which can be used in the same plant with multi-products, ENA or some chemicals or ethanol. Then there is also a lot of pressure on reducing the OPEX, because continuously the feedstock cost is going up, fuel cost is going up, and also manpower cost is going up, enzyme cost is going up. So we have been always tasked to do technology development to reduce the cost of the production. Then all plants has to be ZLD, so this is also a challenge. Then higher safety norms and higher level of instrumentation, because to manage suddenly 300-400 plants, today in India we don't have so much of skill set. Like even though institute like DST or VSI or NSI, they have been producing a lot of good technologies, but still the growth is so fast. So now everywhere people are feeling that they have to have less manpower and more automation. So we have built few plants with just 50% manpower requirement. Then Emacs is our technology, so we are striving to always reduce the OPEX, like I already explained. So earlier, we talk about efficiency, we talk about quality and the capacity. But apart from that, nowadays there is a lot of pressure on the ZLD, there's a lot of pressure on energy cost, then there is a lot of pressure on the achieving the low water footprint. So nowadays the technology development should take care of all the three, then still produce higher efficiency product and good quality product. That has been a very challenging, because if I recycle so much of water, then maybe my efficiency of the fermentation goes down. Like Sri Gunjal sir has said that this always depends on case to case. So, but somehow with IMAX technology, we are able to master the art of producing higher efficiency with less water and less energy. This is one example we are illustrating for the work we have done. So when we started in 2015, these were the numbers of steam consumption. So now we have brought it to almost half in the last 4-5 years. So one day I can see that the distillery will not take any water and will not take any fuel. So that is a kind of a dream we are having. So only the raw material will come and the product will go up. So we are already working on such technologies to integrate with solar, do a lot of recycle. Especially for sugar industry, we have recently done a project in UP where we treat the sugar condensate and keep it for 360 days, 365 days, and use it for the distillery. Distillery is effectively not taking any raw water from any source. And of course, these already I explained. I think sweet sorghum, again, one can look at it as a serious feedstock, because it will give sugar, it will have starch, and it will also produce bagasse. So this could be a very good ethanol energy crop. This is a typical block diagram with incinerator boiler. I think everybody is aware. This is for the grain. In case of grain, all the fibers, protein, everything is recovered as cattle feed. So we are not burning it like in molasses distillery. So we can generate a lot of revenue by selling as a cattle feed. And there are a lot of developmental activities happening to recover this protein as human consumption protein, to recover germ oil for making either edible oil or to do a biodiesel. So this is a multi-feed, multi-product plant where you can see in the central block is a molasses distillery. On the top side, you can add cane milling and cane boiling house. On the right hand side, you can add grain. Then same time, you can produce DDGS, you can produce ENA from it. So already quite a few plants we have already built. One example is 500 KL belonging to Hermes Distillery, sugar in Karnataka, which can use sugar cane syrup, can use molasses, which can use grain, and it can produce ENA or ethanol. So these are some statistics. So I think since you are all experts and stalwarts, so I will just move this. So this is from rice, where 1 ton of rice or broken rice you get 450 to 470 liters. So this is a corn. Corn is actually going to be a future crop for ethanol production, because we can derive a lot of byproducts. Right now, government has made dry milling as mandatory. So we are ending up with only one byproduct, that is DDGS. But in that also we can separate the germ and we can produce oil. Then if the government allows wet milling, then we have a lot of byproducts which are edible and which will give you much better revenue. Even for handling the waste, we can also do a CBG from the waste, and there are technologies which can help us to achieve ZLD with wet milling. And cassava is one crop which is used in Thailand and Indonesia and Philippines. Basically, syrup to ethanol, everybody has already experienced by running on syrup. And basically these are small challenges because cane syrup to ethanol was a new subject to India. It was done in Brazil, and Brazil, they have their own situation. They can just spray the spent wash, and they don't need to do a lot of recycle, a lot of generally systems. So it was much easier for them to use sugarcane or syrup or combination of sugarcane and syrup and molasses. So they were quite okay. But when we started with a lot of these restrictions of ZLD and having a, the partly in the existing plant you divert partly the sugarcane to ethanol, so we are having a lot of challenges. So cane recovery area is one. Just as a thumb rule, if you have say 10% recovery, then you get 60 liters plus you are not doing molasses, so you get another 6 liters. So for 10% more or less you get 66. If you have 12% you get more. So the sugar recovery also varies. Like if you have a starting season 10-15 days, your recovery may be low, and at the end of the season your recovery may be low. So all these factors you have to really consider when you are planning ethanol plant. Then similarly, cane season also, whether it is 3 months, 4 months, like in Karnataka they have 3 to 4 month season. So what they will do with that investment for next 6-7 months, so that is a challenge. So mill sanitization, I'm sure everybody has discussed in the morning. Then controlling bacteria, VA. There is one study done in Satish Sugar in Karnataka. So they also realized that apart from improving the ethanol yield or ethanol fermentation efficiency, they also could get 0.2-0.25% more recovery from the sugar by adopting certain good practices in the boiling house and in the mill area. Then of course technology selection, like Mr. Gunjal sir has mentioned, that recycle is very important. So practically what we have seen is around 25 to 30% can be very easily recycled. Of course, if you have a better quality of syrup, so one can look at a more higher recycle ratio. But irrespective of what recycle ratio you want to achieve, all the evaporation equipment design has to be done for a lower recycle, so that you will not end up having more effluent at the end of the season. So for certain places, the residence time for fermentation is higher, so your fermenter has to be bigger. Then of course designing the coolers, syrup coolers, you have to also maintain a very hygiene condition when you design the coolers, because there are chances that in cooling system a lot of bacterial infection can catch. So then you have fermentation design. Of course, we always recommend go for conical bottom with the central agitator, so that your fermentation efficiency is higher. So we also seen in many plants, when you use flat bottom without any proper agitation, you lose 1 or 2 liters of ethanol. So similarly, distillation, evaporation, and distillation and evaporation has to be designed for the less recycle and slightly lower alcohol, because every day you cannot get 13%, 14% like what we assumed in the beginning. Then you also have challenges on corrosion because of high VA or sulfur or low pH. So there are certain equipment we have to upgrade the MOCs from conventional molasses plant, which we have been doing. And that is very interesting, which I already mentioned, that as per government planning or the practical ground reality of the feedstock, so one can have 10% ethanol coming from sugarcane, 10% from grains. So considering this, so basically, we always propose that people will add grain section, because there is almost 5 million tons of excess rice, and you also have plenty of opportunity with development of corn. So there are few key parameters which you have to consider. Like when we worked on Ugar sugar 800 KL or Balrampur Chini 323 KL. So basically, when you divert sugarcane 50% to say distillery, you will also save a lot of bagasse. So whether that bagasse can be kept and used few months during the off season, so because that will help you to reduce the cost of your fuel during grain operation. Then similarly, water management, cooling towers, then even the condensate polishing unit or sugar ETP. So some part of it infrastructure can be used for distillery when you are diverting sugarcane, and even off season also you can use most of these facilities. With a very low capex, low opex, one can produce grain to ethanol during off season. So of course steam pressure is one thing. Like supposing you have a low pressure turbine exhaust pressure, then one can design most of the sections for 1 kg pressure, except the dryer and except the ethanol dryer. There are also few things which we can do to reduce the high pressure steam requirement. We can use TVR or MVR so that the high pressure steam requirement can be reduced. Then another thing is boiling house. During season, we can use boiling house second body vapor to drive the evaporation plant or the distillation plant itself. So this can be also worked out. We are recently doing a project in Sangli area, SGZ plant of 200 KL using boiling house vapor, driving the operation. So impurity removal from distillation is again a challenge for, especially this challenge was not there with molasses and grain, but this challenge is there for the sugarcane syrup. You will have more impurities, which you need to have a small aldehyde for them. You have some, if you have excess sulfur, you can have a copper filled scrubbers, which can take care of sulfur. And maintaining pH of ethanol also is a challenge, so that you have to maintain proper pH of the fermentation. That will lead to stabilization of the pH in the product. So these are the examples where the sugar industry have quickly adopted grain addition in the off season. These are the examples like Ugar, Balrampur, Harald, LH. And this is a typical syrup distillery with grain addition. So this concept is already well proven to be feasible. I think all the sugar industries are making a lot of money by running 300 plus days, and in fact they are expanding all their capacities, both syrup and grain, for this year. So 2G we already discussed. Then apart from ethanol or feedstock, these are the diversification one can think of. So feedstock, an application, then you have green chemicals, you have spirit, a lot of bioproducts can be made. So this would be the future ethanol plant for India, having wet milling, then you have 2G, you have molasses. These are some of the plants we built recently. This is the grain distillery built in Karnataka. This is the Balrampur Chini 323 KL plant. This is the Baramati Agro. Baramati we have crossed now 500 KL. And Wave Industry, where we have done a zero intake water distillery which runs without any raw water. This is the Parle Biscuit plant, both molasses and grain. This is the Forever Distillery. This is the LH sugar plant in Uttar Pradesh. This is the Gulshan Polyol. This is the 500 KL grain to ethanol plant. This is the Hermes distillery where we are building a 500 KL syrup and grain ethanol ENA plant. So I'll come to the last. The DSCL we built 2 plants, 275 KL plants. The India Glycol is one good example. They built 360 KL plant with us, 2 plants, but they are not supplying any ethanol to oil industry. They are converting this into green chemical and exporting to Europe. So like how we are talking about usage of ethanol to reduce carbon footprint. So in the West now they are slowly trying to replace the chemicals which are made from natural gas with chemicals made from ethanol. So this is a DDGS dryer. So this dryer was being imported from China, from Turkey or Germany. Now we have successfully replaced it with Make in India dryer. We have already supplied 50 dryers. Each dryer will cost around 5 crore. That means our team has saved 250 crore foreign exchange. So recently we have also started sort of an NGO, Ethanol and Biofuel Technology Association. So we would be requesting all of you to come and support as a member. So using this, we want to develop more technology interaction and research work. So these are our references. Almost 50% of our business come from repeat customers. For certain groups, we have built 5 plants, 6 plants continuously. So recently, we have got 3 projects with Crypco. This is almost single order is more than 900 crores, and we are building 3 plants on complete EPC basis, including civil, boiler, turbine, everything. So thank you very much. So if you have any questions, I am happy to answer.
We can have question and answer.
Is everyone